Alright, so today we're gonna talk about the difference between algebraic expression and equations. Okay? So an equation is a sentence. So think about an English sentence. What should you have in an English sentence?
Subject, a noun, a verb, predicate.
Beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah? What do you have to finish with though?
Period.
Period, exclamation mark, something, right? That's a sentence, right? An equation has to have an equal sign. Similar to a sentence where it has to have a period, an equation will have an equal sign. You can solve an equation, okay? Which means you can isolate for the letter and find the value of that letter. That's solving, okay? So for example, if I want to look at an example, let's say 5x plus 2 equals to 0. That is an equation, right? Because there's that equal sign. Okay? However, an expression, okay, doesn't have to have a period. If you're talking about English, right? An expression, right? It's wow, that's an expression, right?
Or
Not a sentence, right? It's a phrase. It's not a sentence. Okay? So that means it does not have an equal sign. So for example, if I have something that looks like this, right? There's no equal sign.
So that's just an expression.
That's an expression, right? Sometimes you can simplify expressions. This is already simplified in the simplest form, right? Let's say if I give you this, 2x plus 3x plus 2 plus 1, right? You can simplify this because you can add like terms, right? But you can't solve because there's no equal sign. While this one, I can solve for the letter by doing the opposite operation because I have that bridge, which is called the equal sign. Okay? So in this case, I solved for x. I found the value of x. Are we okay with this? The difference between the two? Alright. Now, let's look at some examples. 10 is 5 less than a number. 10 is. What does the word is mean in an equation, in a mathematical equation? What do you think?
Product.
That is your final product. What can I put instead of that is? Positive, negative, multiplication, division, equal sign. What do you think? 10 is 5 less than a number. Equal. 10 is, so it's equals, is 5 less than a number. So let's say the number is x. Okay? How would I write 5 less than x? You're going to have to subtract something, but what would you subtract?
Yeah, less than.
Well, you can't have less than with an equal. I know what you're trying to say, but you can't have it in this situation. How about if your number is x, how can you write 5 less than that? Minus 5. That's right.
Less is a minus.
Less is a minus, right? So 5 less than a number, that means your number and you're taking away 5 from it. Right? Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
And then 10 is equal to that. So 10 is 5 less than a number. We don't do a lot of this in grade 11.
What would this be? Grade 12?
This would be grade 10. Good morning. That's for the people who have to take grade 10.
But how connected is it to the grade 11 and 12 now? Like, at the end of the
Yeah,
day?
I was getting pretty confident with myself.
Not very,
I'm just saying,
honestly.
does it connect? You understand, like, when you were.
Yeah, I understand. Like, it will not connect unless we're doing linear, which we don't do linear in grade. It's not very connected. It's just, what I want you to see is I want you basically from this whole thing, is I want you to understand there is something called equation, and there's something called expression. An equation will have an equal sign, and that's what it means, right? You can solve for that equation, you can solve for the letter. The expression, you can't solve, you can just simplify.
You can only simplify an expression
That's
to
right.
solve a equation.
That's right. So let's read the second one. The second one might be easier. 5 more than a number is 7. That's right. 5 plus x equals 7, right? 5 more than a number, so that you're adding 5 to the number, is means equal 7. Okay? Remember, this is called an equation because it has an equal sign. As I said earlier, that you can solve for an equation. I have a question. No, you're good.
So basically less than means minus, more than means plus.
Exactly.
It's not times.
No. Okay? There is words like where it says like 2 times a number is 10. How would you write that? 2 times a number is 10.
Right. 2 times 5 is 10.
Yeah, but 2 times x is 10, right? You solve for it. 2 times x is 10, right?
Right.
That's another equation. Twice a number is 200. Twice a number. That also means
Of the power of 2. No.
twice. That means 2 times.
2 times.
Right? That means twice. Okay? So the word may change a little bit, like twice or 2 times, but it means the same thing. Okay? This is where you have to connect language with math. Okay? Changing English into math.
This is it.
Yeah. Okay? Now, as I said, an equation can be solved. Right? Remember that solving means you're isolating for a letter. Okay? So if I want to take the first one and I want to solve for x, what do I do?
Move 5 to the other side. This time
What does it become?
positive.
Positive. Right? Remember that when you're isolating for a letter, right, you want to get rid of anything with that letter. Okay? You have to move it, bridge it over to the other side. Yes.
Can you write it the opposite way? X,
Yes, you
X
can.
equals plus 10 plus 5.
That's exactly correct, because left side equal right side, so you can exchange these sides without doing anything, right? So you can write this or this, they mean exactly the same thing. Okay? So this would be your answer for the first equation. Okay? So when x is equal to 15, that number is 15. So I see this in grade 10, right? We teach it in grade 9 and 10, mostly for the applied. You learned it in grade 10, right? Your last semester. So when we're talking about when do you see it in college, I've actually was surprised. I had a student who I tutor in the afternoon. She is in first year college. She's doing something in health, I think. That's her program. And her math, she called me, she's like, I need help. And then her chapter was all about making equations and solving for them. So they give them the word problem, right? She has to set up equation and then solve, finding the point of intersection by doing elimination or substitution. And that is first year college.
Doesn't sound like fun.
No, well, it does for me, but it wasn't fun for her, right? And that's because the foundation of grade 10, right? We don't see that in grade 11 and 12, unfortunately. Okay, can you solve the second one for me? So the second one is 5 plus x equals 7.
X equals to 7 minus
Yeah, so bringing the 5 over, it's going to become x equals 7 minus 5, which is 2. Do you guys have any problems with solving? Or are you guys okay with the solving part? Is that everyone is okay with the solving part on this? Since no question? Okay. So we're doing the opposite operation, we're okay with that? That's what I'd like to hear. Yes. Okay. With the expression, you can't solve. You can simplify, as I said, but you can't solve because you don't have that equal sign. All right? So let's read this, the sentence. So a number less than 5.
X.
It's 5 takeaways. Yeah.
Less than
Yeah. Because if it's the other way around, it would be 5 less than the number. Okay? In this case, it's a number less than 5. Okay? So you have 5, and then you have a number less than it. So the number would be x. I know this might be hard for some of you. Don't get discouraged. It's okay. It won't be, you won't see it again. It's okay. 5 less than a number, x minus 5, right? So 5 less than a number, so you have the number, and you're taking 5 away from it. So 5 less than that. Okay? You see that in this expression, there's no word is. There's no is this, right? Or equal to this, or give you this. So there's this part right here with the is does not exist, okay? And that's why we call them an expression.
It disturbs me that they're written backwards, seemingly, you know, like a number less than 5, and then
Yeah.
you got 5 less than a number, and then you got 5 less than a number, and you got x minus 5 is backwards. To me, like, kind of.
Yeah, it seems a little, I don't want to say, it is a little bit confusing because a number less than 5 and a 5 less than a number.
It seems like the other one should be correlating with the
Mhm.
other one. They should be backwards.
So let me think about it this way. Let me see if I can get it here. Read this for me.
That's when I don't know if I'm overthinking things, but that stuff like that bothers me.
I agree. I agree with you. This is where the English language, right? It is 12 minus 5. Okay? Let's look at this. So, if I want to read this, right, I'm going to say it's 5 less than 12. So the number that I'm getting, right, is 5 less than 12. Okay? Because you have the 12, and you have 5 less than 12, that would give you 7. Right?
So right now we're learning how to say the verbal expression for the expression or the equation.
Or the equation, that's right. So you can say 12 minus 5, or 12 take away 5, right? But this is the mathematical way of saying it. The English way of saying it, and now tell me that you like English. If you don't. 5 less than 12. This is how the English way of saying it. Right? Which one makes more sense? The mathematical way or the English way? Yes, and that's what I'd like to hear. Thank you.
The math way?
Yes, 12 take away 5, or 12 minus 5.
Yeah,
Easy,
English-
straightforward. Let's go. right?
Yeah.
But this is, technically this is 5 less than 12, right? So, I don't know, it could be
Really?
because I've seen it so many times that I get it. For you guys, it's not easy. I'm not doing the first time I read it, I was like,
So when you see the subtraction sign as a verbal command would be less than.
less.
You're gonna translate it.
English.
Okay, tell me something. Describe 7 to me with respect to 12. How can you describe 7 with respect to 12?
7 equals 12 minus x.
Now, if you want to talk about 7, how much is 7 less than 12?
5.
So 7 is, complete the sentence for me. 7 is,
5 less than 12.
thank you, didn't you just say that? We're done.
That was good.
We're done, right? You just told me what was written on the board, right? Basically, they're describing the situation for you, right? They can't be straightforward in that situation because it's English, right? The sentence has to make sense, right? They're describing it. All right, good. Are we done with this now?
Thank
Can we
you.
go back to English? I mean math. Okay. In an expression like this, you can evaluate the expression. The word evaluate means you plug in a value, right? You actually say, I want x to be 2, right? Let's say. And then you plug in 2, and then you evaluate. Okay? So if I want you to evaluate, so if x equals 2, right? Evaluate five minus x. So what do you have to do?
5 minus 2.
That's right. So you replace the value of x, you replace x by the value of 2, right? So it's going to be 5 take away 2, which is 3. Okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm evaluating given a value of x. Usually at this point, they will give you what value you plug in for x. Are we okay with that? All right. If x equals to 1, evaluate x1.
5 minus 1.
No? So x1. So you're going to replace x with 1. So you're going to replace this with 1. Right? So it's going to be 1 minus 5, which is negative 4. Okay? So, what action am I doing here? What am I doing for the left side? Or this side, whatever it is, the right side. Solving. What am I doing here? Evaluating. Right? These are the terminology. The question we're going to say to you, evaluate the expression given this, or the question is going to say solve. Right? You need to understand what the question is asking you for. Are we okay with that? Okay. This question would be like which part? The first part or the second part? Second part. Second part, because it's evaluate. Right? Evaluate, so it's like, right? So you're gonna have to, it gives you that x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 3. It wants you to evaluate each expression. And you guys take a few minutes, or do you want me to do the first one with you and then I give you the rest? You do the first one with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I replace x with? 2. what would I replace y with? 3. So that's gonna be 2 times 2 plus 3. Right? I start my sentence with an equal. So 2 times 2, that's 4, plus 3, 7. Yeah? And that's it. So I evaluate. Okay? Remember when you're evaluating, you're following bed math. Right? So, and I did that because I had to do multiplication first. 2 times 2. Right? Then I added 3. We're okay with that? Okay, I want you to try the next two. Remember bed math.